Now that the mud platform is mostly dry, and the chunk of wood cookie floor that I have done has had time to dry and cure, and I can kind of step and work on these platforms, Brandon has set me up to do the next stage of the rocket stove. Hello fellow homesteaders, I'm Nika. This is absolutely my favorite mud build of all time. I started off by mudding in all the rocks that Brandon had staged, creating the basic shape for the bottom portion of the rocket stove. And it's very important that we're building this rocket stove in appropriate shapes and sizes. So going slow, taking my time, getting everything nicely mudded in was important. And then I had to start mudding in this little grate. This little grate is going to be quite important when it comes to the functioning of our rocket stove. It was a little tricky, but I think I got it situated pretty nicely. Now that the grate is all situated, Brandon has kind of staged some other rocks. I'm staging some rocks, but I need to build up another layer so I can put in some chicken wire forms. And as I'm creating this layer, I'm using the chicken wire forms to be sure that I am measuring and gauging everything appropriately. We want the tubes to be the specific size and make sure that everything is going to kind of fit and function the way it's supposed to. So I'm going back and forth between using the mesh and just kind of making sure everything is going to be placed how it needs to be. And then I was able to take the middle portion of the tube and actually mud it in to really get that tube creation started. We've been living in sin so long, all the fields are gone. Then I worked a little bit more on the base, building it up to the point where I would be able to start mudding the little chicken wire form. I started with just mud patties, laying them gently and smoothing it out. I wanted to start with just an initial layer in order to solidify that into the form. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. Now it's a little bit more work on the base. This base is going to be the serious mass portion around the rocket stove. And I needed to get this layer done to continue on with the next layer. Seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I have the base where the rocket stove is going to go pretty situated, but there is some more planning that needs to be done before I can go further. So I'm going to work on mudding in this chicken wire form. I'm going to have to be pretty slow and deliberate in mudding this in. I want to make sure that it's going to be nice, sturdy, stable, as well as keeping the shape that I need it to be. But this is definitely some of my favorite parts of doing the rocket stoves, is all the tube creating. It's a lot of fun. Never imagined something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the road. Now that that portion of the tube is all finished, it's time to put in this little bit of metal ducting. This metal ducting is going to connect the rocket stove tube system into the bench. And I'm also going to be working on building up the platform where the rocket stove goes in order to continue on the planning of building the entire system. All stages, step by step. Coaster of life. Oh. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. I do love kind of creating a pretty smooth finishing touch aspect to each layer. And not that that smoothness is going to stay, because I do create a scratch coat where the next layers is going to go, kind of planning the shape with everything with those scratch coats. But when I did this fat layer, I did kind of forget this little copper tubing, but we caught it in time. We were able to squish it down into the mud, and now I'm going to build a little platform around that tube, as well as the tube that comes up into the barrel. But I need to plan all this and build it so that when the barrel goes on, it'll be all nice and level. But that's the next stage, is to get it ready for the barrel to actually go on and finally be mudded in.
Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over. It's about time. To all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. Roller coaster. I want to go down the rabbit hole, down the
So this big tube has had a nice day to dry before the barrel gets set on top. So I need to finish this chunk of the base so that I will be able to cover the J-tube. And this J-tube is the one I created that goes under the floor, up and out the wall. This J-tube is going to get a chicken wire form that I'll do little mud patties over so that I'll be able to bring this base up and over the tube so that it'll be all covered and just a tube out exhaust this way.
And now it's about to leave. Oh, roller coaster. Oh, roller coaster.
That little platform area is finished for now. Brandon cut the barrel and placed it. I did have to wedge a couple little rocks under there to make sure it's all level, but it's time to mud it in. situated and absolutely beautiful. I'm super excited because now we get to start working on the bench. And then we'll be able to fire it up. Peace.